نحن وين علا؟
نحن ب 11 Woodfire in the secret heritage room, okay, and Chef Brando just took over. Yeah, four people only, secret room, awesome room, and this guy is the utmost fire chef. يعني if you want to have food from fire, you want to have it from Chef Brando.
Yep. So we're in the room. You have to actually go through the kitchen and then go through an alleyway to get here.
This is very much New York vibes, yes, you know, those secret rooms, underground, walk through the kitchen.
It's called the heritage room.
Yeah, it's like a chef's table as well. So we're very honored that we're very happy
so tonight,
to be here.
It's the three of us having dinner with the chef.
Amazing. Good evening. So welcome to the heritage room. So tonight we will experience 6 courses of dinner. Each course it will come with the pairing drink as well. So the menu has been crafted and inspired by Chef Brando childhood and heritage. So before we start, as you can see here now, it's a shot. It's like aperitif shot to open your palate. It's something umami and also refreshing. It's made of pongzu yuzu, sweet rice wine and cucumber. Yes.
طب صار دوري خبركم قديش بحبهم هول الاثنين وكل واحد منهم فات على حسابه كل واحد بيلقط واحد هيك حدا بيلقط هيك حدا بيلقط هيك they are amazing تعرفنا على بعضنا كثير زمان طارق وعلا كوتشينا ديل سول عملوا شغل بيعقد ما بعتقد في حدا بالبلد ما بيعرفون from a foodie perspective they're fun قراب على القلب لذيذين مهضومين اصحاب مع كل الناس واليوم بعتوا لي مثل انه هيك secret thing ناطرينك على 7 اوكي نحن بس اوكي سو عن جد طلعت نحن بس بهالاوضه الصغيره الموضوعه we're gonna meet the chef in a bit it's gonna be one memorable night
guys I'm very happy that first you made it today because I know everyone is so busy during this season well my name is Brando Moros I'm the head chef of 11 Woodfire we currently have a Michelin star I've been working in the industry for the past 15 years maybe and let's say I don't call it specializing myself but focusing myself more on the fire open fire cooking like fire kitchen we created this space in 11 Woodfire as an experience to connect more with the people and to showcase more our cooking style so my cooking style it's very aligned with 11 Woodfire and this is where the idea came. So Heritage Room is all about the cooking of the chef from our heart. So we want to showcase our roots, our heritage, our flavors, our personality, all throughout the dishes. So for this experience I have created a 6-course menu in which each course has a memory of my past, of my background, some of my family experiences with food, my first approaches into restaurant world, and everything is cooked over the fire. Different cooking techniques, different way of cooking for different ingredients, but everything is related to smoke flavors, wood and charcoal flavors, which is what represents my cooking style. Heritage Room is a way of connecting in a different approach to the people through the food. So what we are going to showcase in the first dish is something that represents my country. My country, Colombia, is a very rich land in which we have a lot of nature. We have a very rich land in which grows amazing ingredients, flavorful fruits, flavorful vegetables. We have the coast, which has amazing seafood. We have the land, we produce amazing coffee. We export amazing flowers as well, some of the best roses. We have bananas, avocados, strawberries. And the sad part of that is that we don't get to eat that food in our country. Everything is for exporting because it's the best quality. The best quality, unfortunately, is not for us, it's to make money, right? So the first dish is basically a bouquet of herbs and flowers that I wanted to put in the plate as a representation of what is Colombia. Yeah, so it's called Ember herbs or Ember salad because it's lightly smoked over the embers. So that bouquet, I will just let it sit over the embers. We are not gonna cook it. It's just about smoking it, giving it that aroma, and then we are gonna taste it with two different sauces. So the first sauce, I call it chlorophyll aioli, which is, let's say, like a spread in which you can taste the grass. It's like you are eating herbs from your garden. A little bit lemony, a little bit citrusy, but with a lot of herbal taste. And then the second is a dressing, like a salad dressing, in which you will experience like a little bit more of kick of the flavor, which is acidity and sweetness, which has a very nice aroma. So, as I said, we don't want to cook it. We just want to give some aroma. So, also to boost that smokiness, I have some basil oil, but I let it slightly overcooked, so I call it burnt basil oil. So it has the aroma of the basil, but when you let it overcooked a little bit, the basil turns darker, and the flavor which gets after that is a little bit more like eucalyptus. So it gives a different smokiness. It's difficult to sell as well some specific ingredients because many people doesn't know them, and let's say the bananas get super ripe, the avocados also get ripe. So this vinaigrette is made out of mint, fennel and thyme. That's the main ingredients. Then you have some cherry vinegar, you have brown sugar.
شيف ستيبل برايفت دايننج كل شغله بشغلتها بتفسركم على الاخر الموسيقى لابقه مع الاجواء 4 حيطان ما في شباك فول فوكس ذا 4 سنسز اور ذا 5 سنسز محطوطين كلهم سوا على اللي عم بيصير عم نشم روايح دخنه من هون ومن هون سموكينج من هون عم نسمع الصوت 10 مرات اقوى بالجريلينج او بالكوكينج اللي عم بيصير هون ورا الكاميرا واكيد عم تسمعوه and then it comes an experience one after the next. المنيو مطبوع تا واحد يقدر يلحق يشوف شو عم بيصير وكل شغله كل صحن منقى مزبوط. صار في 4-5 انواع صحون عندي على الطاوله كل شغله بشغلتها. So it started with this يلي ريحتها رائعه. اجى بوكيه شوي زهور على الطاوله وطلعنا كلنا ببعضنا انه بيتاكل او لا؟ قال لي اتس كاموميل فلاور اند ديفنتلي ات داز. فينا نعملها هيك بالمعلقه واقعد اعبيهم وحده وحده، فينا نعملها ستريت فود ستايل اعبيها مثل ما هي، فينا نحطها جوا كلها سوا. And it starts by a cleansing of the palate and definitely an explosion of flavors. It's salad you invented. كلوروفيل عم بتفقع تحت السنين. Super fresh. Fresh flowers. اوف. لا بنبلش من محل كتير عالي. كتير عالي. Presented on coffee beans. الكاموميل اللي كان لازم اساسا نبلش. زيت. اوكي. شغله ورا شغله ورا شغله ورا شغله. And ongoing. ومين ورا اساله كتير اسئله. فيكم هلا بنشوف كيف مين في يحجز هيدي الطاوله لمين هي 4 اشخاص ماكسيموم 1 on 1 with the chef واسالوا الاسئله اللي بدكم اياها. بعرفوا في كثير اهل بحبوا يجيبوا اولادهم يلي بيحبوا الطبخ او رح يصيروا شيف شي نهار يقولوا له تيسال كل الاسئله is it a good passion job to follow or not. هاي فكره كمان.
Chef's table heritage room is coming soon. Price will be $495 per person. We will still you know, like adjusting here and there and preparing everything for when the launching, the official launching, but it will be definitely soon live for bookings. Well, you usually want to highlight or show something or some of your favorite dishes in that time. So I did something similar, but I picked some of the memories or some of the dishes that I used to don't like that much. Okay. So one of those dishes is this second dish, which is the pumpkin. My mom used to do a pumpkin soup. which for us as kids it was like super boring to eat soup, and pumpkin was not our favorite, so we were always struggling to finish our dish. And then my mom was telling us like, you cannot stand from the table until you finish your food. So we were sitting for hours with my brother and my sister, just playing with the food until my mom just let us go, you know. So indeed it was delicious, the soup, but in that time, like for us, was not something interesting. Same as vegetables, same as salads and that kind of food. So what I did with her recipe, I, let's say, took the elements that she was using for the soup, and I prepared them in a different way. So she was enriching the flavor of the soup with chicken breast. So then I took the chicken breast, I cook it in a very traditional Colombian way, which is a nogado sauce. So the nogado sauce is a base for some other sauces, or it could be like a topping for empanadas or for arepas, which is a flatbread, or patacones, which is the plantain, crispy, deep fried and flattened. Or you can do stews with this. So in this case we did the stew, chicken stew, the same chicken breast that she was using. I, let's say, flipped it into a chicken thighs with the stew with the nogado sauce, and we just add some activated charcoal to give that illusion of, let's say, charcoal chicken. We call it in Spanish pollo al carbón. And then with the pumpkin, I got two different kinds of pumpkin. The first one is the butternut squash, which is the sauce, the base of the dish. That butternut squash, I create an amber cream. Amber cream is usually made out of mango. So in this case, I added the pumpkin to the mango, and I added some spices like mustard seeds and fenugreek seeds to give bitterness. And then we have acidity and bitterness, a pinch of yuzu juice. So this sauce, it will give us that sour profile. Then we have on top delica pumpkin, which is sweet. And then to enhance that sweetness, I use some honey from Hatta, cider honey, which has a very particular good taste. And I did a spicy honey glaze. So garlic, soya sauce, some cherry vinegar, saffron, and then honey. So I charred completely, the two of the pumpkins is cooked completely over the grill, over the charcoal, sitting on the embers for a few hours until completely charred. So as you see, the skin is completely charred but not burnt, so it's edible, it has a flavor and it has a texture. Sticky pine nuts, let's say candied sticky pine nuts, which are made with pomegranate molasses and sumac. So it's nutty, sweet and sour. So what I was looking for is like mainly texture, but at the same time also that contrast with the sweetness. I don't want the dish to be like too sweet, because honey is clearly too sweet. So I need something to contrast all those flavors of the honey. I always use the herbs in my dishes because I think it's very important to add that aromatic and fresh part to our dishes. So in this case I chose one herb which is called oxalis. Oxalis has a very fresh and citric flavor.
رائعة رائعة. إذا سمعتوا شو فيها مكونات، منه المكونات اللي هو بيستعملهم بالبيت أكيد، منه المكونات اللي بيستعملهم بالكاتشر تبعه. And then simplicity, yes, but lots of complexity as well. Lots of flavors, acidity, light crunch, very enjoyable and fulfills the mouth. في pumpkin بالأول، تعبت pines, beautifully cooked chicken, very intense acidity بتحرق زلاعين. It fills up، يعني واحد بده هيك يركز عليها من الزينة تبعها كيف انعملت وكيف القصة تبعها. وأهم شغلة كل صحن عم بيعمله هو له قصة، عم بيعيشه، عم بيفكر فيه. اللي لفت لي نظري انه مثلا بيعرف بالعنبة او بيعرف بالعسل تبع حطه او سترة. صار له 9 سنين بهذا البلد وعم بيفتش، عم بيبحبش، عم بيتعلم، منه بس معلق باللي بيعرفه من طفولته. And definitely showcased in the menu. Clean, neat, simple yet complex flavors.
Calamari, forget about it. Like all those seafoods, forget about it. The only way, fish, like fish and chips style, or breaded, like breadcrumbs, and deep fried. Because the smell for me was too much. I'm not that much before into seafood. And same for the beef. The beef, I had to eat it like super clean, no fats, no anything like weird, thin slices, and completely well done. This is the only way. And chicken, only chicken breast. So I became a chef as a coincidence. So I started marketing and advertising. I did 2 years in the university. Then I couldn't continue paying my university. So a public university was advertising free culinary careers. And that's how I started. I just applied, I passed, and then I did my 1-year studies. And then I got an internship in a really good company, which I had no idea of the, let's say, hospitality industry world, like how far you can go, if you can travel, you cannot. I have no idea. So it was just once I started in this company, I fell in love with Italian food, which was Italian restaurant, my internship. Then I moved to an Asian restaurant from the same company, then international cuisine. I learned the wok, I learned paellas, the Spanish. So I started learning a lot, and then I never stopped. Up to date, I never came back to marketing and advertising. I still like it, and it's been very useful also for my life, but I found my passion in this. So this is a representation of the deep fried fish that I used to eat. So I got a very nice quality of fish from Japan. It's called Tilefish. And one of the characteristics is that we keep the scales attached. We don't remove the scales. The scales are thinner than usual, so in contact with hot oil, it will puff. It will become crispy, it will add texture and nice crunchiness to the fish. This is what we call reverse frying. And then what we are gonna do, because it's already cooked from the top, but let's say the outside is slightly cooked because of the oil. Instead of hot oil, we did beef fats. So that will change completely the flavor. And then we are just gonna slightly poach the fish over some coriander and wasabi butter. So this butter, it has a lot of flavor, it has a lot of shallots as well, white wine vinegar, so it will definitely give that boost of flavor that we are looking for the fish. Slightly cooked, we don't want to overcook the fish. The fish meat is very, very gentle, very soft, so it doesn't require like a hard cooking. This foam is made out of dashi, so we do the dashi here in-house. The dashi is just water infused with kombu and bonito flakes, but we let it reduce for 2-3 hours to have like a strong taste, because the foam is 80, so you will not get that strong taste, but you need to have that, you know, aroma, that hint of flavor from the dashi. We just add it's an extract of soybeans. It's called soy lecithin, which is used as an emulsifier, and this is mainly used, let's say, in molecular cuisine or just as an emulsifier for specific preparations. And then just with this device that we have, which is like a fish tank pump, it has on the other side, this is a stainless steel, which from here comes out all the oxygen. So this is what creates that oxygen, the bubble. Was like and enjoy to do my own mix of spices. So for the fish, I decided to make 2 kinds of seasoning. The first one, it has that sourness, which is sumac and garlic. So I'm gonna season just one side of the fish with the sumac and garlic, and then the other side we are gonna season it with turmeric and cajun. For me also, let's say, eating outside of my home is, if I want to eat clean or healthy, is very hard. Like usually the food that we get outside is deep fried, or is just like a lot of processed food, ultra processed. So I want also to include in my dishes a little bit of healthy as much as possible. So turmeric is one of the most, let's say, ingredients that have the most benefits, anti-inflammatory, you know. And people sometimes don't consume it because they don't like the flavor of the turmeric itself. It's too strong. So that's why I mix it with cajun spices to give another flavor to it. It adds that creaminess, flavor. And then you have a little bit of sweet alisun.
كنت شوي نقزان من محل ومحل انه اول شيء فيها كتير زيت، هل رح احس بطعمة الزيت او لا؟ بعدين فيها الكافيار على الوجه، اوكي ويت، and then في الفوم اللي شكله مثل الصابون until you put it in your mouth. اول امبريشن في فليكينس عم تحسها تحت السكين، يعني اي وش فيني افرجيكم هيك تحت. and then السمكه لونه ابيض 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 مش شربان الزيت ابدا. بتم سوبر جوسي وبتجي الطعمه 2-3 seconds later. So بالاول it's a normal fish and then boom it comes with acidity, it comes with الكافيار شو بيزيد لها طعمه غير شكل، وحاططها بالفوق. سو بتقعد على سقف الحلق وبتبلش تحرك هيك التيست بودز من فوق. and then السمكه اللي هي very simple, a simple thing، ما انا فلسفه، مش شربانه صوص، مش قاعده بالتفاصيل تبع. سو السمكه مثل ما هي وشاغل على كل الفليفرز على جنب. مين بيقول في سمك بقلب هذا الصحن؟ سمك and كافيار. واو عن جد. Again, redefining the art of simplicity with complex flavors. That's what the chef is.
Well, next dish is called glazed pepe. Pepe was a baby lamb. As many cultures and many traditions around the world, as in Colombia as well, for Christmas and for New Year's Eve, we have the tradition of, mainly in the countryside, the farmers, to slaughter an animal. It could be beef, it could be lamb, it could be goat. And we celebrate Christmas. We slaughter the animal, we do dinner for Christmas, and from the same animal we eat until New Year's Eve. So Pepe was a baby lamb that my grandfather he brought, but he brought it too early. He brought it like 2 months before Christmas. So we didn't know that was our Christmas dinner, and we named him Pepe. We used to play every day with Pepe. We used to feed Pepe every day. My mom used to tell me every morning, go and feed Pepe. And we used to call the lamb by the name, and he used to attend and come, and we used to play with him. So when Christmas came and we realized that that was our dinner, we were like basically traumatized. Our grandfather, as a farmer, they don't get attached to animals, they don't care. So he slaughtered him, hung him, removed the skin, butchered him. We saw all the process. So we were basically in tears because of Pepe. We couldn't eat Pepe that night. After 2 days, okay, we forgot about Pepe, we had our food, but this is in honor of Pepe. And we are using for this dish the lamb ribs, which is not very common, it's not very usual, and it's an amazing part of the animal. Usually you get lamb rack, lamb shank, lamb neck, the lamb chunk. So lamb ribs is not very common. For me, it's one of the best parts. I personally am not a lamb person because the gamey taste, aftertaste that it has, and some smell. So I created a dish that I can eat every day. So for that, I wrap the lamb with some mix of spices. This I call it smoky wrap, which is full of brown sugar, black pepper, smoked paprika, sweet paprika, coriander seeds. So this is what I use to smoke my meats. It goes very well. I just wanted to pass around for you to smell it. It has a strong flavor. So the idea of having the brown sugar is to completely wrap the meat the brown sugar will stick to the meat, and then we sear it on high fire, so the brown sugar will melt, and then it will caramelize the meat. Then after this process, then it's ready to go to the slow cooking process. Oven, 1 hour and a half, low temperature, 150 degrees, and then the idea is to tenderize the meat. Once meat is tender, then we do a sauce. It's a glaze. I call it coriander glaze, but this sauce is inspired on Asian flavors. Why Asian flavors? Because back in my country, we don't have those kind of flavor profile, which is a lot of sweetness, spiciness, acidity, all in one dish. For us, it's more like savory, sweet is sweet. We don't have sweet, sour, those tangy flavors, we don't have those. So for the lamb, I believe it goes very well, those kind of flavors. The sauce is very strong. It has a lot of hoisin, gochujang, soya, garlic, spring onions. It has cinnamon sticks, star anise, a lot of ingredients combined all together to make a perfect balance, all blended, and then we get a nice caramelized meat. I created dukkha, smoked dukkha. I just add smoked paprika. It's one of my favorite spices. Smoked paprika, it goes well with everything. I put it on scrambled eggs, I put it on sandwiches, I put it on meat, everywhere. For me, it tastes good. So smoked paprika, homemade. So I take seeds, nuts, all toasted, then grind it in the mortar, and then I add the Maldon salt and smoked paprika to it. Now we have some freshness from the spring onions. Good quality. I want you to taste. It will melt in your mouth, so don't worry about it.
How did you do it?
So there is, we call it kitchen solutions. It's most of the times are like extracts from some foods, maybe some vegetables. It's called maltodextrin. So maltodextrin in contact with any oily liquid, it turns into a sand. So this sand is the first, let's say, phase. You can toast it into a pan and become like a crumble. In Colombia, we have a very traditional way of cooking steaks, and this is something that not everyone does. It's very rare. I haven't seen it anywhere else, and it's called Lomo al Trapo. Lomo al Trapo means fillet on the cloth. So we use a cotton cloth, 100% cotton. We make it wet with red wine or beer. Then we squeeze excessive water, and then we extend the cloth. We make a rock salt bed, then rosemary bed. We put the fillet, we wrap it, and we throw it inside the charcoal, but should be very hot fire. Like fire, we take a shovel, put on top the charcoal, let it burn. So it turns out like this, completely burnt. The cloth will not melt, the idea is that the cloth doesn't break. So because it's wet and because of the material, it will become like a crust. So it's totally smoked, totally burnt, but still it's hard. And the cloth itself, it will smoke the meat and it will infuse with the wine and the rosemary. So it depends on the size of the steak. Usually we do the whole fillet, but for the thickness of the fillet, if you want to cook it to a medium temperature, it takes 20 minutes. Like exactly 20 minutes. And this is how it comes out. So as you see, the cloth inside is still like, it's still alive, but already like smoked, burnt. The rosemary doesn't allow the steak to become too salty. So it just, I would say, just perfectly season the steak. gonna serve it with a black garlic aioli. Why black garlic? Because the steak is infused with red wine. It has a lot of aroma from the rosemary. So I need to, let's say, contrast that. And for that, the black garlic, it has like a sweetness, like a balsamic reduction flavor. So this, it will go very well with the steak. And then I have a special salt. Throughout my experience grilling and using different kinds of seasonings and salts, so I've been trying different sources, salts from different sources. So this one is from Hawaii. It's from the volcanic rocks. It's called lava salt. So it's raw, completely raw. So also, like in terms of healthy, it's better, much better than, let's say, that fine salt and refined. So this is just black garlic emulsified with olive oil.
No garlic means black garlic.
هيدي رح نعملها لايف. هاي رح نعملها لايف ورح نشوف شو الانطباع. بيقولوا لي انه black garlic is different. It doesn't taste garlic. It's sweet.
Sweet?
Doesn't taste garlic at all. Sweet. Maple syrup style. Very nice. And then اللحمة. ذكرتني اللحمة عن جد هيك شو طرية. بتراديشنز نحن عنا اياهم ساعة نعمل ساعة النشوة بنكب البطاطا بقلب النار او ساعة لما نكب اللحمة على النار او توماهوك على الجريل. And then it's super tender. سوبر تندر كأنه معمول سوفيد. اوف مثل الزبدة سوبر باتري نو تكستشر loaded with flavor. Oh my goodness. نعمله حتى خلينا نقول طبخها بالكلسات.
بالمنشفة.
بالمنشفة. واو. اوف. شو هالملح. Oh, the salt, oh my goodness. Salt is different, flavor is different. Next level, chef. Next level. Super next level. عامل لقمة مع هيدا الشيء اللي ما بنحكي عنه، هيدا الصوص السوداء لحدنا. بس اشوف الاحساس، بخبركم بكره الصبح صار معي شيء.
هيدا
This is a winner dish.
Brando, it doesn't pick up.
These potatoes are the best potatoes you will ever have, in my opinion. The way he does them, we had them before, and I was waiting for this dish, and he's serving it.
So we met Brando, I think, almost maybe 3 years ago. I was looking online to find chefs who really know what they're doing with fire, because we were organizing one of our outdoor camps, and I reached out to him. I saw from his Instagram page a lot of his cooking was kind of traditional live fire cooking. Reached out to him, said, listen, we do this event in the desert, you in? He's like, immediately, I'm in, count me in. And since then, he's been cooking with us in different events. And every time he's brought like different, I mean, it's beef, it's lamb, he has a beautiful octopus dish as well. Brando has a coffee steak dish that also has been very, very popular. So superb. And tonight, honestly, I think the creativity has gone to another level. Really. The flavors, the different layers, the different ingredients, everything is so rich, and a lot of storytelling from the heart, and that's what Brando is.
Amjad, he deserves a title. Fire master, fire chef, gourmet fire master.
Well, Colombians, we are potato people. Potato is in our gastronomy. We cannot live without potato. Our lunch is must have potato and rice. It's potato, rice, and protein. If we don't have potato, we should replace it for tapioca or plantain or something like that. But potato really is part of our culture. So for every barbecue, we must make some potatoes. So the traditional way that we make the potatoes is that we boil them until the water completely evaporates, and before it gets dry, we throw a lot of salt. We check the pot, so it creates like a crust outside the potato. We call it salted potatoes. These ones are very similar, same cooking method, but at the end, what we do, we break them in halves and we deep fry them in beef fat. Yeah, the idea of breaking it in halves is to those uneven edges, it will become crispier, right? So usually we eat potatoes with sour cream. So instead of sour cream, I'm making a buttermilk sauce, which is kind of like a ranch sauce. And then we have another sauce that this one also is very important in our culture. It's called ají. So ají is like, imagine like a Mexican salsa. It's basically similar ingredients. We have grated tomatoes, we have spring onions, we have coriander, lemon juice, oil. But this one is my own ají. So it has much more herbs, much more ingredients, much more flavor. And this one is used, let's say, as a topping for the empanadas. Empanadas is some of the most popular dishes as a street food in Colombia. And these ones, well, these two sauces goes very well with these potatoes. It's like a flaky and light texture. The level of sodium is not too high, so you can actually do like a nice seasoning. Like appearance-wise, looks really good, and also it gives a nice flavor. It will melt in your mouth. Japanese salt. This is our palate cleanser. It's called agua panela granita. Agua panela is a very traditional drink that we have in Colombia. It's part of our culture. It's something very iconic in the whole Colombia. And it's a drink which is very popular for being part of the poor family's breakfast. So agua panela means agua, water, panela, the raw cane sugar. And this raw cane sugar, we get it in bricks. So it's something very cheap, very affordable. And we do like a kind of like a black coffee, imagine a black coffee, which is water and the raw sugar boiled, becomes super sweet. And this, the poor people take it with a piece of bread for breakfast. There is some other variations, which is more into the entire country, like as an afternoon tea or morning breakfast, like in between breakfast and lunch, in which we put some cheese, and then we scoop the cheese, melt it from it, and this is like for us our hot drinks, part of our hot drinks. Then there is a variation which it turns to a lemonade. So for this we just squeeze fresh lime juice, and this we just drink it cold. And it's in every single family in our fridges. My mom used to prepare it, so when I used to come back from the park of playing football, straight to the fridge, open agua panela, lemonade. Same my grandmother, when I used to go to her home also, open the fridge, there was this drink. So I decided to bring it to the table as a palate cleanser using different kinds of lemon, and I converted it into a granita. The granita is a shaved or crushed ice flavored. For it I use fresh lime juice. I use burnt lemons that we previously burned, completely charred over the grill. Then we squeeze the juice, it becomes very bitter. So fresh lime, the burnt lemons, and then we add a little bit of aromatic or herbal, which is rose water, to balance. The raw cane sugar will definitely remove that bitterness a little bit, but the granita is very sour. Then I found this black lime in the supermarkets. We don't use it in Colombia, we don't have it there. So for me it was something new that I was always seeing in the spices section of the supermarket. And I asked there like how they use it here, and I was surprised that when they told me it's for rice, for cooking rice.
For boiling chicken as well in the stove.
And then I got 3 pieces, I bought it, I tasted at home, but the way I tasted, I just assessed it. And it was super aromatic, super nice aroma, flavor. So I decided, in my ignorance, I decided to just use it as a part of this dish, just zesting it on top. It will bring that aroma from this. It's really flavorful, and it has a very nice hint of lemony. And then I got another one, which is these finger limes. These finger limes, for first time I saw it in Australia last year. And some of the, let's say, one of the most surprising things was the texture that it has. So depending on the color, it has a different flavor. There is many kinds. And these ones are, for example, from Spain. These ones are from Salvador. So, but inside, once you cut it, it's like pearls. So once you squeeze it, it looks like a lemon caviar. And it's not too sour, so you can eat it just like that.
ما بعرف اذا بعد عنده اشياء ثانيه بس انه ختامها مسك unless في بعد شيء.
في بعد شغله.
سيترون جيفري ما بعرف شو ترجمتها بالانجليزي اللي هي ذا ليمون بفضوها بدنا نحط فيها سوربي ليمون سوربي بس هون تيكن تو ذا نكست ليفل. الحموضه اللي بقلبها الانتنس حموضه اللي بقلبها سو ليفلز اوف حموضه يمكن شي 3 ليفلز اوف حموضه مثل بيت اوف سولتينس حلوه كثير. icy, refreshing, very intense lemon and excellent. وبالاخر اوف ورقه الزهره تفرط مثل الكورن فليكس والسكر بعبي التم. very good. Excellent. حمضة شو؟ كثير حمضة. عم ندمع.
He's very special with it.
Yeah. So my grandfather was the person who introduced me to the restaurant world. He was a farmer, but when he got married, he moved to the city and he got 2 jobs. So he got a job in the daytime, which it was a mobile local company office job, and at night he was going every day to the restaurant in the countryside. And he worked in these 2 companies for 30 years. So he retired from these 2 companies every day doing the same routine over and over. And I just remember on Sunday night, when we used to go and pick him up from his duty with my grandmother, my mom and my aunties. So this was a very traditional restaurant in the countryside, Colombian food. As it was in the countryside, so the chefs were all single mothers, all old ladies. To support, it was like a politics of the restaurant to support those single mothers from the villages around the restaurant. And the head chef was a very old lady, like very old lady, white hair, curve, slow walking, but her food was delicious. And she always used to greet me with a hug and give me one dessert which they did homemade. It was the figs, boiled, cooked in syrup, with some cinnamon, cloves, spices, until it becomes super thick and the figs super sweet. And then they just serve it with dulce de leche. Yeah, simple but super tasty. So this dish is a modern interpretation of that memory. And it's a figs which I stuffed with 3 different flavors. So fresh figs from Abu Dhabi. I got some of the figs that they are farming there, which are super sweet, very nice flavor. And then the first flavor that you will find is a layer of goat cheese with confit dates. The dates I made it confit, slow cooked in oil with cumin and coriander seeds until the dates become crispy. Then I chop them, I remove the oil, I chop them and I mix it with the goat cheese. So you have that like bitter and sweet from the dates. Then you have a chocolate crumble in the middle, and then you have the dulce de leche. I make a cream with pistachios, dulce de leche, and cinnamon.
This is best for last. فيك الطريقة اللي حشي فيها الجبنة والطريقة اللي حشي فيها الشوكولا اوف this is next level. ختامها مسك really great experience, memorable experience. إن شاء الله هاي الطاولة بيفتحها لكل الناس قريبا. Table for 4. Thank you so much for having me. Really blessed spending the night with you. And we'll definitely connect with the chef for more fire and grilling and outdoor stuff soon.